and today I want to show you this app called Final Touch and Protect. So, and this loading. Let me do this. So, I can show you that for sure. I can click on library and load any previous image, but this is not what I want to do today. I want to show you how it works from scratch. So let me select an image. I will use one image from Marc Simonetti with one of IAMC26 Montreal speakers. So let me check the right folder, this one, and let me, yes, let's pick this one. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I'm hesitating, but I think it's a good example anyway. Okay, so let me remove the banner below to be sure you see the full interface. No, it won't change anything, so let's keep it as it's better. And let me, open the chat. And hello, Paul. Sorry, I didn't have the chat open before. So, when you open this interface, you will have a lot of different menus. Some can be already uncollapsed. I want to you can use in any order any options for sure, but I want to show you one of the, probably most important. This is one called AI protection. So this AI protection contains 4 layers of protection, and there are other protection in other tools, but I will show this later. If you don't want to play and to try by yourself, there is one click settings. If you click on this, you will try to analyze the image and you will try to understand how far it can go without really destroying the image. Let me click on this. So I'm also streaming, so it's not super easy to see the difference, but let me zoom a little bit in the image and let me move to some important places, like this one, for example. Yeah. This tool is that you have a compare button. The compare button will allow you every time to check how much it has changed the image compared to the original. One more time, we are on stream, so there are some differences you probably don't see, and I can't see myself on my screen. But you can also go back. Let me do an undo. An undo of everything, and let me zoom again to this place and show you one by one what these different filters are doing. So just for information and to be sure everyone understand what it's about the algorithm. We don't use any AI, it's all about math and AI engine, LLM, use and understand image by pixel, and it's not the same way as humans see pictures. So we try to give some false information. This is not something new, it exists. I have not invented something, I'm just applying some well-known algorithms that disturb LLM engines. So the first one is a noise grid. So I will push it to the max so you will understand what's happening here. So you can probably see what's happening here and the different grids. So it applies a random grid, but what you can see is that at some point, for example, close to this, even if you zoom, the human eye no more see that there is an artifact. And this is what's important. It's how far you can push. The adversarial ghost can pick the best setting, but you can play with it by yourself. This one, the no AI geometry warp, is probably one of the most destructive ones, so you have to be very careful because it will create some ondulation and wave on the image, and you can see if I push it, it's totally wasting everything. So it's one powerful against AI, but I would advise to not push it so far, just a little bit. So the color scramble is totally invisible for the human eye, and this is something you can push very, very far, and you can really push and test. Sorry, we have our first spammer. It's always interesting to see that some people love to lost their time and life. So, and the last one is anti-AI clocking. It's same, it will apply some random frequency on the image to confuse it, and you can see I can push it also a lot. One more time, you have the compare button, you can click on it and you will see that most of what I have applied are totally invisible, and I can tell you that it's really not the same image if you compare pixel by pixel. So this is what the AI protection does, but it's called Final Touch because this application and the goal of this application is not only to protect, but also to add the last final touch on your image. So you have different classic ways. So you can add some exposure, contrast, and saturation. You have the auto enhance button, but one more time, you can play with it by yourself. You have the color grading. So the color grading is using some LUT technique. You have a lot of different LUT filters. By default, the intensity is to 0, but I can show you how it can apply. Let me go back to, you have this button, reset view. It will just unzoom and get your image to the initial view. So intensity, it's better to view how it works on this. You can play with it. There is also one module only dedicated to this filter, but it's also integrated here. You have the cinematic effects, classical different effects you can find in film. The bloom will highlight the white point. You have the cinematic chromatic aberration, you know, that will shift RGB on your image. It's more, we are more in our direction. Film grain, I don't need to explain it, it will add grain. And the vignette, which is a famous, it will act on the corner of your image and add, you see some black around it. Okay, you have some classes, focus, if you want to add some focus on your image. It's, there is some similar things in Instagram, I guess. So you have the classic radial and you have tilt shift. I will put them off. So AI protection, we go through. Geometry and frame, this is something. I had some discussion with artists and some like to have this simple frame on the image, and you can have. Composition is just a check. It's nothing else. It won't alter your image. It's the different type of grid you can apply on the image. Okay. And you have the signature. And you have two different signatures. The first one is just by typing, and you can choose the type of font, and you can place it where you want and change the size. Probably not the best choice, but some people like to just use this kind of signature, but you can also upload your logo and use a PNG. And let me, no, I don't want to use Mark's head on this. Let me just use a logo, a real one. Yeah, let me check if it works. Yeah, and so you can add a logo on your image. It's like a watermark if you want. And so what's happening right now? So why can we add this kind of layer? You can just click save. If you click save, it will just add all the changes to your library and you can load this image later. You can click on zip all. So if you click on zip, it will create an archive, and in this archive, you will have the original image and you will have the modified image. And you can click on PSD, and I will click on this. I will save it here and open it later. Okay, because I want to show you what's happening right after you have saved or you have created a PSD. So when you have saved your image, you will have this panel, generate social format, crop, or back to the interface. So if you go back to the interface, you go back to your screen, you can load a new image or you can add some changes in this image. But if you click on general social image, it's like you have finished your touch-up, you have added your AI filters, you click on this, and it will open, I think, something that will save a lot of time to many artists. So what it's doing, it's trying to find the right focus on any images and to create for your social media the right size. So you can see Instagram Square, portrait, stories, and so on. And what's also important, I think, or will be super helpful, you can upload a logo. It can be a different one. I have made the choice to not save the logo here because I think that in social media, people want or can choose to have the logo in a different position and probably in different size. So if you click on it, for example, on this one, you can pick a different position from what you have seen, and the size of the logo, you can change the size of logo, but it will be proportional and compute compared to the other thumbnail. If in case there is one you are not very happy with the automatic choice of the center of any of the thumbnail, you can click on this and you can just move the image, zoom, dezoom, and save. So the system will remember that you have changed the position for this specific thumbnail. Okay, do you have any questions? And for sure, I can choose all social mark, for example, and click on download back. Okay, so let me click on download and save it. And it's safe. Okay, if I go back to my dashboard, I just want to show you that I can go back to the final touch and I can click on my library and I can click here and I will retrieve my image with all the settings I have picked. And you can for sure modify everything, resave, and so on and so on. And you also have these tools in your library and you can have it here and you will be able to filter this. Okay, so let me go back to what I have saved because I think it's also important to show you. So two things. Let me go back in my download, and I'm sorry, it's a mess, but anyway. So first, all social bike, easy. Let me extract all. Okay, and this is exactly what it should be. I mean, no surprise here. So you can view by extra large icon, and you can see I can open this, but this is all your image ready to be posted in the right format for any of the social media. Okay, it's opening, it's coming, it's here. Sorry, it was blurry, but okay. So one more time, you can see how much time you can save. Let me show you this. So this is a PSD, you remember, I have saved with the application. So it will take a little bit of time because I'm streaming and at the same time I'm opening Photoshop. So perfect moment if you have any question about this application. Wow, it has loaded faster than I thought. So let me check this. So now you can see the image. So what's happening here? The PSD generated from the final touch. If I come back to my app and I come back to the final touch here and I select the library just to have some references. So this is the final touch. So I don't know why the logo has been anyway. Sounds like a bug. I go back to solve. Great. Anyway, going back to Photoshop, it has saved 3 different layers. So you have your original image and you have the modified one. So it means that even in Photoshop, if you are not happy with what you have done, or if you want to do some quick changes, or simply if you want to use some fusion mode, you will be able. It's a non-destructive modification with this app. And it's just an option, but it also saves your logo, so you don't have to rewrite this and you can play with it. Okay. So this is what this application Final Touch is doing. It's from this you can add some cinematic effects. You can, let me close this because it will lag otherwise. Okay, you can add some thematic effects, color grading. You can have these 4 different layers of AI protection. And that's it, I think. So if you don't want to go through the final touch and you want to just crop and have all this format ready for you, that's why we have this publish category, and you will find this crop tool. So this is this crop tool that has been used when I had saved the image, and it can be used in a totally independent manner. So same, you can use any image here. Let me use another image from one of our speakers for IMC 26. So, and same. So if you just want to use a social model, you can just use these crop tools. One thing I haven't demonstrated, I think, right before is the fact that you can add this smart border. Same, it will have this smart border on any of your thumbnails. Same, I can add branding. So if, one more time, all these modules are independent, or some can spoke to others, and I am still building some bridges between different modules. So sorry, I'm a bit lost. Okay, let me go back, take a logo. This one, white, it will be. Okay, this one is white. Okay. I don't know if it's a good idea on this image. Yeah, you can see this. So same example, trying, you can have a global center. It usually works on most of the thumbnail, but there will be always one or two thumbnails you want to adapt. So same, you click on any, and you can move or zoom if you want to zoom or change something. But you have to be careful also. So there is a little sign, you can see there is a very little green, yellow, and red dot. So these are just some information, and I think important information, because as you may know, we have a lot of different social sites. And for example, Instagram story, it's like almost 2K 2K, yeah, 2K per, yeah, 1024 by 1980. So if your image is not enough high or not enough large, you could have some troubles with the resolution. So these points intend to show you that your input images is good enough for any of these formats. I can show you probably another example. So let me discard this one and let me load an images that could have a different, yes, I think I should have, no, I'm unsure. This is just a screenshot, so it won't be a good enough, yeah, it won't be a good enough resolution. And you will see now this red dot, yellow dots. It means that the image is probably too tiny, and even if you generate these formats, you will have some troubles because it will be probably pixelated.